For example, in 2008, Obama won a staggering 95% of the black vote. But a new Morning Consult poll has Kamala at just 72%. Trump is pulling 21% of the black vote. What was it, 10 or 11 points, 9 points last time around? That could be a game changer for him in this race. Joining me now, Mark Carter, Chicago resident and activist. Also with me, Osiris Sumler, a former Democrat who is now voting for Donald Trump. Osiris, you voted for Biden last time around. Why the change?
What's up, YouTube? I finally made Fox News. I know, it's crazy to think about. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how it happened and a little bit about the behind the scenes, the things that you don't see on camera. So let's just jump right into it. So the first thing to note is that I live in Chicago, and obviously we are impacted by the migrant crisis. Thousands upon thousands of illegal immigrants being sent to our city, and black people feeling like we being left behind, we being pushed to the side. So that's a very big factor that you have to take into account. So I was irritated with what's happening in Chicago. So I heard about this organization, a Republican conservative leaning organization created by black people in Chicago, by the way, who are fed up with the migrant crisis. And the organization is called Chicago Red. You know, they love Trump. They can't stand the immigration situation that's happening in the city. And a lot of people are just normal, ordinary black people, ordinary Chicagoans who want to see the city use its resources to help the people who've been here the longest. Most of this is just about illegal immigration and Mayor Brandon Johnson turning a blind eye to us black folk in Chicago. So I was very vocal at City Hall, at community meetings. You know, every time they turn your school or something in your neighborhood into a migrant shelter, they're going to send out a community alert to tell people, hey, we're going to meet up at this church or school or whatever, and they're going to talk about it. And the alderman, the police chief, and all of these other fancy people are going to lecture you about why you have to accept said building in your neighborhood being transformed into a migrant shelter. So it's like they're just there to lecture you, not to ask you if you want it or not, you know? So that kind of feeling is very frustrating, but this is very important because this is kind of how I got into Republican politics. So the immigration situation definitely was a catalyst for what's to come next. So the president of our organization goes on the media a lot, obviously, to promote it and to tell people what's going on. So there was a situation where my president said, you know what? I think that someone else should have an opportunity to go to the media, and Fox News was really looking for someone who had been a Democrat and is now voting Republican in this next election. So I'm just doing like little groundwork, getting people registered to vote and just voicing my opinion about illegal immigration. And out of nowhere, I get a, phone call. Hey, do you want to be on Fox News? And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. So it just shows you that like hard work pays off. Being out here in these streets, boots on the ground, voicing your opinion, making connections, all of that is very important. Joining political organizations that share the same beliefs that you do. No matter what it is, you have to put yourself out there because you never know who's watching. You never know who likes what you're doing. So obviously, it's like early in the morning, like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, okay, there's no way I'm gonna miss this because I also have to tell y'all the DNC, it's in Chicago, obviously. So you had all this media, the protests, all this crazy stuff that's happening downtown or by McCormick Place or the United Center, wherever. And it's a lot. It's really a lot that's going on. So Fox News is some of the media that came to Chicago, specifically Laura Ingraham. And as we know, the Ingraham angle be popping. She be having so many people on her show, and she's a really kind of fun and cool person. So her show is in Chicago, and it's like at 6 o'clock. So that's kind of how that happened. And I found out like what's gonna happen, and they said just be ready at 3. We'll send someone to pick you up, and we went from there. Yeah, y'all. So they sent a chauffeur. I'm like feeling really fancy, feeling really important, and they escorted me, little old me on the south side of Chicago in the hood. They took me way to the United Center where the DNC is happening. And basically, like, there was so many people. They took me to the news section, and all of these important people that you see on TV, they're just there walking around like normal. And I'm just like, that's so-and-so, and that's another person. And I've seen this person debate that person, and it just seemed like an out-of-body experience when you're just like a normal dude in the hood, in the ghetto, you know, doing your own thing. And you're just transported to this media world with all these fancy people making a lot of money every year, might I add. But like, yeah, it was crazy. And they put me in the green room and just told me to wait a little bit until the show started. So when the show actually started, you know, it was crazy. Like, someone was putting some stuff on my face, some powder or whatever. Someone was putting the microphone in one pocket and attaching it to my chest, and someone else was adjusting my pants. Like, there were people all over, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I'm just this, you know, this little person, like, kind of nervous. And they told me about the topic. They said that, you know, you are black, you're young, you're a Trump supporter, and they wanted to hear more about why I was voting for Trump, why black men are kind of going in that direction, and most importantly, the immigration situation and how the migration crisis is impacting black people when it comes to the polls. So those are the topics that we were talking about, and yeah, I sat down and then they got ready to film, to shoot. The one thing to notice that Laura Ingraham is kind of smaller than I thought she would be. I mean, she has like a very kind of strong, aggressive personality, really cool. And I kind of thought she would be extremely tall for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, like, seeing her in person was really cool. She was a really nice and just laid back off camera, and she really did a good job of making me and the other individual who was there, Mark Carter, making us feel comfortable. So it was a really nice experience. And, you know, actually seeing kind of the teleprompter, them being like 3, 2, 1 action, that was like that's behind the scenes. It was so cool. Like, you get to just see everything unfold in real life. So yeah, that part of it was really nice. So I will react to my entire segment with a few other YouTubers in a different video, in the next video, so stay tuned and keep watching. But for now, I kind of want to quickly talk about some of the things that I wish I'd done differently, or some things that I guess was a little bit unexpected, if that makes sense. So first things first, they didn't give us any questions at all. We had no idea what they were going to ask. We just knew the general topic, which was black people moving to Trump, black people going to the Republican Party, or why, you know, you may not like Kamala Harris. Those are the things that were floating in our head, but we didn't know the specific questions that they were going to ask. So one question that I thought was kind of surprising, but in a sense not that surprising, was, why do you think more black women are voting for Kamala and more black men are voting for Trump? And I'm addressing this particular question because it's getting a lot of attention on Twitter, a lot of haters, a lot of people making jokes and saying crazy stuff, and that's to be expected. But I kind of want to go into why I triggered some liberals, why I got people going crazy, bro. So if you go watch my segment, or if you watch the next video where I'll be reacting to my segment, I basically said that black men, a lot of black men have been incarcerated. A lot of black people have been to jail. Your black father, your uncle, your grandfather, whatever. Someone in your family probably has been to jail before, but probably for something that was petty or small, or it wasn't even a big deal, right? But basically, black men in particular can relate to that feeling of the system being against you. You know, there's an X on your back and they're coming for you. Things just not being fair. So a lot of people were very upset with that take. And first of all, I don't care. I said what I said. You big mad, a little mad, because I honestly do not care. You know, we got freedom of speech. So people are going to be triggered no matter what. They're going to say what they're going to say. But one thing that I will say is that in those kind of situations, you know, you're answering off the cuff. And I really do kind of wish that I answered in a different kind of way, because you're gonna get hate regardless, but you want to, I guess, minimize the damage, if that makes sense. So if I kind of knew the questions beforehand, which obviously they don't have to provide me with, or, You know, they're never going to give you the questions beforehand. But if I could answer it again, I would say something along the lines of, well, the criminal justice system has negatively impacted the African American population. And obviously there are many reasons why black men support Trump, but one of them is the First Step Act and criminal justice reform, or I would have kind of like polished it up a little bit. But when I mentioned that like your uncle been to jail and that's why he supports Trump, people kind of took it the wrong way. Like, oh, so it's just mass incarceration and you're saying black people are criminals and that's the only reason why they support Trump. And it's like, no, it's not. Sit down, calm down, take a chill pill. So yeah, that's just the main thing you have to look out for. Really think about how you're gonna say it, because it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And no matter what, me being a black Trump supporter, that's going to make people upset. So hate is gonna hate. But after the segment was finished, you know, we wrapped up, they took everything off the microphone, and I shook hands, and that was it. You know, all the hours of preparation and getting there early and going through the topic and thinking about what the question might be, all of that done just within like 4 minutes, you know? So that's kind of funny to see that much preparation and then 4 minute, 5 minute segment over with, time to go home. So yeah. Yeah, so like I said, Laura Ingraham was really cool, very laid back. She made you feel like you knew her for a very long time. I like the way she just casually said my name, then jumped into the question. So I would do this again 100%. I don't care about how early I gotta wake up. I don't care about how long I have to wait. I don't care about how long it takes to get there. I would definitely do it again. And who cares about the haters and the people who are gonna, you know, pick you apart and say these crazy things? I would do it again if they reach out to me. So it was a really fun experience. Like I said, in my organization, there are a lot of people who are very passionate about the migrant crisis, and Fox News came to Chicago, reached out to our organization looking for someone who was upset and wanted to voice their opinion. And I'm like, someone recommended me, I get a phone call, and just like that, a movement, an organization that I joined just a few months ago, they're like, hey, do you want to be on the news? So yeah, a very amazing experience. All right, guys, that is it for this video. Very simple, very straightforward. I just wanted to go into kind of like how I got on the news, because a lot of people were like, who was this Osiris person? Like, where did he come from? And it's like, chill out. I'm just an ordinary Chicagoan who feels like he's been pushed to the side for illegal immigrants. There are a lot more people like me, so if you're mad or got something to say, you could say it to all the other black folk who are going to be voting for Trump this November. But with that being said, I hope you guys liked the video. We will be doing another video, me and a few other YouTubers reacting to my segments on Fox News, which is why I didn't include anything from Fox in this video, because it'll all be in the other video. So please go watch that video. It'll be up shortly. And as always, I'll see you next time.